think it's that one.
Faith, why don't you just push down that microphone? There you go.
Didn't want it in your face?
Do you know if the mayor will be attending?
I think so.
I just spoke to him about 40 minutes ago, but I didn't ask if he was
I saw him in the hallway.
He's probably up.
You talking about Mike? I think he's coming.
Yeah.
You know, I thought of that after.
Yeah.
But just two, we could
We could have done it right for the August 1st meeting.
Well, we could have, sometimes it's, well, sometimes one or the other time of day, I think, depends on the convenience of who we're interviewing.
Yeah. And it helps other councils watch it.
Sure.
Yeah,
Just showing the efficiency.
I wouldn't want to be at the August meeting, but I will.
You will?
Date.
I know the mayor indicated that Mr. Walter is supposed to be here, which is the one that I was primarily concerned with.
He did let you know that Paulette would not be able to.
I didn't ask, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, she had something going on at her home, so.
Way out there?
Yeah.
I actually saw her earlier today and I said, how long did you live in Gardner? She's like, well, from 9 months, so about 77 years. I said, okay.
Worked at the courthouse for many years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to her many times.
Yeah, I imagine you would.
Yeah, she's been very involved with the community.
You want to check him out?
Yes.
Hello.
All set. It being 4:01 on July 12th, 2022, I now call the Appointments Committee meeting of the Gardner City Council to order. The record should reflect that Councillor Walsh, Councillor Mack, and Chair Tyros are present. Also present are Mayor Nicholson. And is anyone recording today's meeting? There is a meeting notice posted on the wall if needed. First order of business is the review and approval of the meeting minutes from May 12th, 2022.
Chair, I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes, accept and present.
Second?
Motion made by Councillor Walsh, seconded by Councillor Mack to approve the minutes. Is there discussion?
I just want to commend Mrs. Glover for an excellent job she did on the minutes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion passes. Appointments. Item 10735, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Lauren Walter to the position of sergeant for permanent. May come sit if you'd like.
Mr. Chairman, if I can start with this one. So Sergeant Walter was employed by the Gardner Police Department up until he resigned mid last year. He has just requested to come back to the police department under the civil service statutes in Chapter 79 of the general laws. Someone who leaves a civil service position does have a 5-year right to reappointment per, again, the Civil Service and prior to getting to this point, that appointment does have to be approved by the Civil Service Commission, who has fully approved that. That's just because if we do lapse with the 5-year look back, they would require us to go back to do a full signing of the list and going through that process all over again. So any civil service appointment like that prior to coming to the City Council does have to first be approved by them, and they have gone forward saying that this is the correct appointment procedure for this person, as they already received a permanent appointment under the civil service position. And while they resign from that, that does start the clock, but there is a 5-year first right of refusal, if you will, on any open seats like that. Sergeant Walter did intend to be with us here today. However, he did just work a double, so per the collective bargaining contract, this would put him over the amount of hours that he'd be legally required to have in attendance. I do understand that there's probably some questions from the council here, but where we do have the 5-year look back, it's not something of any urgency. His temporary appointment has not expired yet, and there's still time on that there too. However, Lieutenant McAveen from the police department, who oversees the scheduling of the department, and prior to Chief Kearns being there, was overseeing the operations of the department, who has worked with Sergeant Walter in the past, is here too, to just, if there's any questions on how he works with the department and things of that nature. But if the committee does want to have any other questions with him too, I'm sure we can arrange another time too.
Council Walter.
Well, I'm disappointed that Mr. Walter isn't here. I had a number of questions associated with his departure, associated with what he's been doing, associated with why he's coming back, wants to come back, why he wants to come back now before we have a new chief, new permanent chief, and why it is that the new chief would not have input into his selection, which I assume a new chief would not have. But in any event, I'm disappointed, but I understand at the same time. So I would hope that we can hold this on our calendar and schedule another time for an interview with Mr. Walter.
I have no issues with that, Mr. Chairman. This, like I said, the 60-day temporary appointment hasn't expired yet, and it's still within the 5, well
so it's
within
on
the
a temporary appointment now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that, I didn't realize that, so.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, I still.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
So I move that we request more time.
I just want to ask, so based on the civil service process, whether we approve his appointment or not, based on civil service, he is allowed to return to his position, correct?
Trying to figure out how to easily explain that. Based on the civil service process, he has the right to the position, but would still be subject to council confirmation.
Okay.
So rather than making it a permanent appointment, it's just like any other appointee. If the council does not confirm the mayor's appointment, it basically becomes an employee at will rather than an employee who's reserved for X number of years. So in this case, it would be a permanent appointment until retirement. If the council didn't approve it, it would be a appointment subject to, it's an employee at will appointment.
My second question is, I know eventually we're getting away from civil service.
Yes.
Would we still have to follow those procedures once we do away for civil service? If somebody left during civil service, because we were under the auspices of civil service, we
Correct.
still have to
They would still be
entertain the
grandfathered.
5-year look back?
Yeah, they would
Okay.
still be grandfathered.
Thank you.
I should provide an update, if that's okay, Mr. Chairman, on the civil service bill itself. I did reach out to the representative's office. This is something that last week made it through the committee on second readings, so it has made it through its original committee in public safety, has gone through first and second reading, and now has to go through third reading before it goes through a vote of the House. This does not have to be done in formal session, so we don't have to worry about getting it done by the end of the month. Good and bad to that is that we don't have to worry about it dying after then. The bad side of it is it doesn't really have that urgent push that many of the other bills that are going through right now. We are requesting it be done soon because it's been well over a year at this point, but it's whenever the speaker schedules the vote. And this is something that isn't being seen just by us. I think the Civil Service Review Commission, looking at it, delayed it for at least 6 months that they were reviewing that. The report has officially been released that they are going to continue with the civil service process. Basically, all they did in the end is that if a community removes themselves from civil service, they have the option through local adoption to continue with the civil service disciplinary hearing process if the appointing authority, if the union or the collective bargaining group disagrees with the appointing authority's decision. You can appeal that back to the Civil Service Commission just the same way you would for any other department still in civil service, but that would have to be a local adoption rule. And I think the Civil Service Commission itself has been pushing back because it's not just Gardner's civil service removal bill that's having these issues. Leominster's trying to get the deputy chief out of civil service, and they're running into the same delays that we've been running into delays here, and that's just for that one position, let alone the full department like we've seen here. So I'm hoping it gets voted on soon. It's gone through all the main hurdles it needs to go through. It just needs that final vote of the House and Senate and then the governor's signature. But it's made it through at least 3 of the 4 required hearings and readings that it has to go through. So it's just got that one more committee on third readings and then a vote by the House at that point.
Is the Senate has to take it up, or do they already have?
The Senate still has to take it up after it goes through the House, but they don't have to go through the first through third readings process that it has. They just have to vote on the final version.
I understand.
But we can certainly schedule another time for Sergeant Walter to come and address the committee. I think that would be good in my opinion.
I'll second the motion made by Councillor Walsh that we table this to another committee, appointment committee meeting and review the recommendation then.
Motion made by Councilor Walsh, second by Councilor Mack to table item.
My motion was just to request more time.
Oh, request more
Yeah.
time. Request more time. Item 10735 to the next appointments committee meeting. Second by Councilor Mack. Is there any discussion?
I just wanted to ask, if I can through the chair, would the mayor like this appointment before after May 1st, we don't meet until September, is there any, would you like to perhaps meet with him before the first September meeting?
Let me review the timelines that we have on
Okay.
everything there, and I will get back to the chair on that one.
Thank you.
I think sometime during August would be fine.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. More time.
Good job.
Thank you, Josh. Hope they're all nice.
Don't plan on it.
Next item of business is item 10736, a measure confirming the mayor's reappointment of Paulette Burns to the position of Board of Assessors for a term expiring July 1st, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a reappointment of Ms. Burns, who's been on the Board of Assessors since, I believe, the early 2000s, per my letter that I sent. This is a very technical position. There are several DOR trainings involved in the position in terms of how to process abatement requests, how to fairly assess a property. There are several different classes that DOR offers that whoever is appointed to the Board of Assessors must attend, as well as continuing education, as well to make sure that if there are any changes or updates to any statutes or regulations, that those are followed as well. So she has gone through all of those. She's shown to be quite well in the position that she's in, and the chair of the Board of Assessors, our city assessor, Chris Kumar, is here as well to speak on Ms. Burns' behalf. Thank you.
Yes, well, having worked with Paulette, I guess it's close to 4 years now. When I was here prior, working for Sue Byrne, the assessor, both Paulette and Chuck are very knowledgeable, both know the city very well. I just feel like as long as she would like to stay, I would like to have her. So yeah, that's about all I have to say. I fully support her reappointment.
Thank you. Councilor.
I've had occasion to deal with the assessor's office for constituents and for other a variety of matters over the course of Ms. Burns' tenure on the Board of Assessors. She was professional, knowledgeable, and I have no reason to feel other than to support her reappointment.
Thank you. Councilor Mack.
I have no other comments.
I move we recommend the confirmation of the reappointment.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Walsh, second by Councilor Mack to recommend the reappointment. Is there a discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
New business, Councilor Walsh.
I have none.
Councilor Mack.
Nothing this afternoon.
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Mr. Mayor.
Just as a notification to committee, I did send an email to the City Council to let them know that Attorney Palami has resigned from his position as Assistant City Solicitor. This was not a result of the Council's recent vote. This is something that had been in the works, and a job offer has been made to him at a different law firm. So he'll be leaving the area. So that was something that we will be looking to fill soon. Ms. Donna Leighton has resigned from a position on the Conservation Commission. So that is another thing that we'll be looking to fill through the regular process that all appointees there. And then just to update the committee that we did receive 10 applicants for the position of police chief. The search committee will be reviewing the initial applications later this week to make a recommendation as to who to interview. They will do the first round of interviews sometime next week and send me the final top 2 candidates to make an official appointment for at that point.
Do you have a sense of when you'll be making a recommendation to the council?
Prior to the September meeting, for sure.
Prior to September?
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for your earlier awareness into the civil service bill and its progress in the House. I will be reconvening on item 10735 in August, and any other appointments that come in, and I'll entertain motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second motion.
Motion made by Councilor Mack, seconded by Councilor Walsh to adjourn. Is there discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, that's,